Our guest today is Judy K. Herman, a seasoned psychotherapist specializing in relationships, resilience, and mental health. She is dedicated to helping individuals rediscover their worth and thrive in all areas of life. Judy, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Justin. I appreciate being here.
Yeah. Thanks so much for joining us. Now, you focus on helping ambitious women in helping professionals find balance and self worth. What inspired you to dedicate your career to this mission?
I'm all about relationships, trying to figure out relationships all my life. And what I found, Justin, in
Mhm.
my counseling practice for many years is that a lot of ambitious women and women in helping professions, such as myself, other psychotherapists, educators, healthcare workers, those who are ambitious, we have we're so ambitious we overdo for other people. And
Mm,
so at home, there's a lot of messiness. And so I am very much all about empowering women to let go of what doesn't belong to them.
yeah, and it's very interesting how people, like you said, ambitious. It doesn't matter. Just in general, ambitious people find a validation from either their accomplishments or doing things and the doing and the doing and the doing and the doing. And then they end up wondering why they end up in the hospital or they end up burnt out or their family or relationships fall apart. Now, your personal relationship journey has actually been a catalyst for your work. Uh, Share with us just a defining moment that shaped your perspective.
It was actually when I was a young mom raising four children, actually homeschooling four, and just realizing that I was putting so much energy into my family. It's almost like I was this directing this play and people weren't playing their parts, but I was very frustrated and burnt out. And I decided it's time for me to invest in myself. When I've done that, then it's been more that I've had more influence on my family that way. But that's
Mm.
what influenced me to actually become and put education into my, or yeah, put education into my degrees and setting up private practice. There's a bigger story with that, of course, but that was a
Mm.
huge transition. Mhm.
Yeah, it's so interesting. You think doing again, it's that because people who are ambitious, they want to do, accomplish. It's always this outward giving of energy. And yet you're saying is that when we turn that energy in on ourselves and give to ourselves and grow, it's like you can't pour water from an empty cup. Well, your cup certainly overfloweth, shall we say. And yet there are still people who don't feel like they deserve any water in their cup at all to begin with. So, what advice do you have for someone who's feeling unworthy of love or struggling to find their voice in relationships?
Well, it's amazing because what happens in relationships basically, Justin, are mirrors to us.
Hmm.
And so we marry opposites. We see the thing that really irritates us about them is the very thing that we need to own ourselves.
Mm.
What's really important if we, goodness, I forgot the question again is, can you
Yeah,
remind
it's just how
me?
you people. Well, no. I think it's great. No, you're right on the right track.
Okay,
It's
okay.
people who feel unworthy of love, and yet we find ourselves in
Yes,
relationships with opposites, and those things that bother us about them are really the thing
yes.
that is within us.
And yes, and what happens is that our relationships reflect that unworthiness. And
Mm.
that unworthiness, and that's what really, when we have conflict, it's something deep within us that we know something's not right. We really are worthy. We just haven't owned it. I mean, every one of us born as little humans, you know, we are deeply loved. And then we forget that throughout our timeline.
Mhm.
So, yeah, it's a matter of learning more about yourself. And
Yeah.
mhm,
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, to interrupt you. Do you have
no, that's great.
yeah, and when I think about so many times I've had conflicts in my relationship, it always comes from that thing when we're honest about ourselves. When I'm honest about myself, it's like that thing I can't stand about them is that thing about
Mhm,
me. But then what do? I say, you do this, you do that,
mhm.
I never ever had at that moment, at that time, taken it and said, well, okay, maybe they do that, but how do I do that? And how can we work together to elevate both of our perceptions or elevate both of our habits or whatever that might be to alleviate the stress in this relationship because we really do like one another.
Well,
Maybe,
here's the thing. Here's the
yeah,
thing, Justin. A lot of people don't know. They want to avoid conflict because it wasn't safe or something
right.
when they were growing
Yeah.
up. Or they like we have a tiger turtle dynamic mainly with couples that I work with,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
one wants to pursue, the other one wants to hide in the turtle shell,
Yeah.
and so, but really, conflict is an opportunity for awareness, for
Mhm.
growth, and to be aware of something that you were totally blinded to in your own life, that it would have been absolutely impossible for you to see other than this relationship showing you that.
Absolutely. And
Mhm.
relationships are wonderful for better or worse for that. Now, you talk about being like blinded to some things you see. There can be stress at home, but how can women in high stress professions maintain their mental health while supporting others, whether that may be the people at their work or the people in their family?
Good question. What's really required? I mean, we were not designed to get up and live what you call Groundhog Day, day in and day out. You know that movie with Bill Murray,
Oh, I know
and
it.
living that same day over and over and over again. It's important for us to take time to breathe deep air and just slowing down the nervous system and evaluating. We do that at the beginning of the year, don't we? We take into, we kind of evaluate the new year and what we learned from the old year and so on and so forth. But we need to be doing that on a daily basis, making time for you to nurture you.
Yeah. So, and I'll put on my high stress professional hat and say, well, I'm so busy. I have to do that. What is one thing that someone in a high stress profession or a high stress situation can do to, like, just today to support their mental health?
What's important is, again, slowing down that nervous system is huge. We need to know the cost of high stress, the
Mm,
cortisol that's flowing through our blood veins, and all of the toxic, chemicals. They weren't designed to be chronic in our bodies.
mm, mm,
Taking deep breaths of air, making sure you go outdoors. If there's one thing you can do, go outdoors, look up at the sky, take your deep breaths of air, and be very thankful and feel that gratitude.
yeah.
Because otherwise, you'll you'll see life at a different angle the older
Mm,
you get.
mm.
And what here's a question. What would your 10-year older self thank you for that you're doing today?
Wow.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's great to think in the future like that because looking back, you never want to look back with regret. And I love the way you phrase that question. What would they thank you for what you're doing today? Because
Mhm.
far too often, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years down the line, if some of us are lucky to live that long, you have regrets. And when you future pace like that, that's a great way to be able to avoid that. So, besides that awesome golden nugget, what is a key takeaway from your book, your programs that you want everyone to remember?
Can I go back to the other question real quick?
Sure.
Because I think I want to share one thing that I think is really,
Come
really,
on.
really important for ambitious women when we are taking on the stress of everybody else in our lives. We are groomed to give, give, give. And then there's something within our very nature because a lot of us are mothers and we want to nurture. And then we're told that it's selfish to take care of yourself. It's never selfish to take care of yourself because taking care of you, you are giving a gift to your
Mm.
family, to the world, and yourself. So I just needed to share that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, absolutely. I love that. And the work that you do, the work that you've done, you have your books back there right behind you. I mean, you're such a beacon of hope and healing and actionable advice that ambitious women, ambitious people in general can take, but especially ambitious women can take to really reverse some of the challenges that are universal for people who are high C's, high achievers in your lane. So
Absolutely.
thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and empowering our audience to prioritize their mental and emotional well-being, Judy.
Thank you. Thank you very much.